where did pendulums come from? Well, the truth is it was not some big moment or idea. It was more like a slow buildup. A bunch of things from my life that never actually felt connected at the time, but kept circling around the same questions. So I started as a musician, jazz performance, and I think that is where this really all began, even if I didn't realize it at the time. Jazz is all about structure and improvisation, coexisting. You are working inside a system, within a band, but constantly responding to it. You're listening, adjusting, letting it surprise you and your audience. Later on, I shifted to engineering. Aerospace, material science, physics, totally different world on the surface, but honestly, the same curiosities. Trying to understand how systems move, how small changes compound, how invisible rules create very real outcomes. And throughout all of that, photography was the constant. Spending a lot of time waiting, watching light move, learning when to act and when not to. That practice taught me patience in a way nothing else could. Pendulums is what happened when all of that finally overlapped. Pursuit of Equilibrium, Chapter 1, Lux, was entirely physical. I built real pendulum rigs, Blackburn pendulums, hung them in a dark room, and used long exposure photography to capture their motion as light. There was no interpretation layered on top. What you see in those images is literally the physics revealing itself. But the physical world is very unforgiving. If one string segment had slightly the wrong length, or one pivot had the wrong tension, or too much friction, the whole pattern would fall apart. I would spend hours setting everything up, working in total darkness, swinging, waiting, shooting, checking, resetting, again and again. And at some point, I needed to make this process a little bit more efficient, so I built a simulation. At first, it really was just a tool, something to help me predict outcomes before committing to the physical process. But as I spent more time with it, I found myself playing with the system itself, using it to test ideas, follow curiosities, slowly introducing real-world imperfections like damping, phase offsets, tiny bits of entropy, just to see how the system would respond. And that's when things really opened up. See, the physical pendulums were always going to be rare, intentional, one-on-one moments, but the simulation allowed me to explore the full breadth of what pendulum physics, or Lissajous patterns in harmonic relationships, could actually offer. And it made it possible to invite a lot more people into that exploration. In Chapter 2, every piece still starts with math and physics, but once the system is set in motion, I stop trying to control it. Equilibrium is not always a fixed point. It is something a system moves toward, and sometimes never fully reaches. Motion slowly losing energy, order trying to insert itself. Each final piece is basically a fossil of that journey. People who have been paying attention early have been able to spend time with the algorithm itself, to explore it, to save specific outputs that resonated with them, and to carry those output seeds to the mint. Others will arrive at the mint and experience the system in a more traditional way, where randomness and determinism fully take over in real time. They are different relationships to the same system. Pendulums is not just another generative art project for me. It's a framework, a way of working, a way of trusting systems enough to let them speak instead of forcing them to behave. Music taught me how to feel structure and how to play within it. Engineering taught me how to design and build within it. And photography taught me how to make the invisible visible. Pendulums is where all of that finally collides. Welcome to Chapter 2 of Pursuit of Equilibrium.